They only recognized their value when everything fell silent. While there was presence, everything seemed guaranteed. Quick answers, available attention, care disguised in small gestures. But this became background noise. It was treated as an obligation, as something that would always be there. Then came the emptiness. Nothing happened all at once. It happened gradually. One day the response took longer. The next day it didn't come at all, until nothing was said anymore. And when nothing more came, perception arrived. Late. Raw. That's when they realized how much that presence supported everything. It was the one holding the affection. It was the one keeping the conversation alive. It was the one creating the bond. Now, only traces remain. Empty notifications. A history of conversations that no longer make sense. Screenshots that save nothing anymore. Silence is not absence. It's a consequence. It's what's left when care is ignored. Those who once held on, let go. Those who insisted, got tired. And when they got tired, they didn't say a word. They just stopped. And what was certainty turned into lack. And what seemed little became irreplaceable. But realizing it now doesn't change what's already happened. It doesn't reconstruct what collapsed due to emotional neglect. All that's left is the echo. We don't value what's present until the absence becomes impossible to ignore. Have you realized this? Because now everything is quiet, everything has stopped. The messages no longer come. The voice notes have disappeared. That presence that seemed constant has dissolved into thin air. It didn't happen all at once. It was silence on top of silence. Lack on top of lack. Until it became this emptiness that you now feel but can't name. It's strange, isn't it? Knowing someone was there all along and now they're not. And they're not because they couldn't stand being unseen anymore. It was easy to ignore while there was still effort on the other side. While someone asked how your day was, even without an answer. While someone was saying good morning, even if all they got was an emoji. While someone insisted on being part of your life, even while being treated as something disposable. But that's over now. Now you're the one insisting. Now you're the one waiting. And the one who feels like they've lost everything is you too. This is called perception. And it always arrives late. Do you realize? It's at this point that a lot of things start to make sense. It starts to hurt. It begins to haunt the memories. The moments once seen as small now burn. The ignored messages now feel like a loss. The rejected invitations now sound cruel, because that's where the other person tried to fit in. And that's where you push them away. It hurts. It hurts because there are no more responses. It hurts because the tables have turned. And nobody warned you it would change, but it did. Now the perception is clear. The absence screams where there used to be presence. And the silence echoes with all the words you didn't say. There's no more pretending. There's no more disguising. The damage is done. And what tortures you the most is realizing that it wasn't the other person who disappeared. It was you who couldn't stay. You couldn't maintain. You couldn't care. You couldn't listen to the signs. You thought time would fix it, that the other would understand that distance was just a phase, but it was the end. And the end came in the cruelest way, without fanfare, without discussion, without goodbye. It simply stopped. Did you notice? Or are you still trying to fool yourself? It's no use answering now. See, it's no use sending that "hey, long time no see" as if it were light-hearted. It's no use asking "how are you" with a guilty conscience. What was lost due to negligence, due to carelessness, due to absence disguised as busyness. While you went on with life, the other person tried to hold on to both, and they stayed silent, because even asking for presence they had already grown tired of. Now all that's left is regret, and that's the kind of weight that doesn't lift easily. Because the other didn't leave out of anger, they left out of pain. They left because they tried everything. It left because it wasn't enough. It left because you didn't notice, or didn't want to notice. And when you finally did, there was no one left waiting on the other side. Now you're reliving old conversations. You remember the details. You try to find a way back, but it no longer exists. There's no way back for someone who had to leave in silence. You might even try to reconnect. You can send a message, you can explain, you can apologize. But know this. It's not the absence that torments you. It's what was done while there was presence. It's how much someone who only wanted to stay was neglected. Do you realize this? Do you understand now how much it cost not to value what you had? This is what destroys you from within. The realization of what was wasted, the truth that can't be denied. Do you remember the day you were ignored? That message that nobody replied to? That anxiety that grew in your chest for no reason? It wasn't anxiety, it was a mirror. You began to feel what the other person felt for so long. And now, every silence returns as punishment. Is it fair? Maybe. But emotional justice rarely brings comfort. It only teaches. And sometimes it teaches when there's no more time to learn. This is what you're experiencing now. A bitter lesson. A realization that comes after destruction. A pain that can't be cured with good memories, because memories are now reminders of what wasn't done, of what could have been. If this resonates with you, comment here. I needed to hear this. There's no room for pity, nor for victimhood. What remains is maturity to recognize what is lost through neglect doesn't return through regret. And the absence that consumes you today is the exact reflection of the absence you created. Have you gone through this? Tell me in the comments. It hurts, doesn't it? But it continues. It will hurt more. Because silence is not the end. It's the mirror. It's where you see everything you pretended not to notice, everything you let slip through your fingers, thinking it was eternal. But it wasn't. Because what is eternal, it's not to be treated like it's disposable. And what was treated this way doesn't stay. Now everything that comes is a memory, but not the good ones that warm your heart. They are the heavy ones, the ones that come without warning in the middle of the night, or when the routine slows down, or when the phone vibrates. And it's not the person you wanted. The mind tries to move on, but the body knows, because when someone leaves, they take a part of you, and what's left isn't whole. That's why certain absences hurt so much, because the physical absence is small, compared to the emotional absence that remains inside. Do you remember the way that person said your name, the way they listened to you, even when you said nothing? Do you remember? Or are you now trying to force your memory to fill that void? That's what the mind does when it realizes the damage. It tries to rebuild what wasn't cared for, but what wasn't cared for dies. And sometimes it dies within someone who is still alive, who still breathes, but has decided never to return. That haunts, because on the outside, everything remains the same. But on the inside, it's as if nothing makes sense anymore. Food tastes like absence. Songs cut deep. The streets remind you. And anyone who arrives seems wrong, because the body misses what the heart no longer has. And that can't be resolved with time, nor with distraction, much less with new promises. Because what was lost there wasn't just the relationship. It was the place where you felt whole, even without realizing it. And when you did realize, you were no longer welcome there. That's cruel, but it's the truth. And if it's not faced now, it will keep coming back. In other names, other faces, other attempts, all failures, because no substitution will erase what was wasted due to a lack of presence. You know this, you feel this. And even without knowing how to move forward, you also know there's no turning back, and that's where the true pain begins. It's not just losing someone. It's realizing that you were the one who pushed them away, little by little, with silences, with absences, with disguised disdain disguised as fatigue. Now it's no use justifying, saying you were going through a lot, or that you didn't know how to show it, or that you didn't realize you were hurting. The pain has already been inflicted. The damage has already been felt. And those who felt it learned. They learned that love is not persistence. They learned that affection is not something to beg for. They learned that presence is not charity. It is a choice. And those who didn't choose to be there do not deserve a return. They may try to redeem themselves, they may even change, but those who bled in silence never forget who the blade was. This is the mark you now carry, and no one will see it. But it will eat away at you, because there is no greater punishment than realizing the value when it can no longer be touched. Do you understand this now? Or will you still try to pretend it's just a phase? It's not a phase, it's a consequence, and it doesn't give discounts to those who treated the essential as ordinary. That's why your heart aches. That's why the days don't flow. That's why even surrounded by people you feel alone. Because it's not loneliness, it's unresolved longing. It's the absence of something that was yours, but you let slip away. And now, nothing fills the void, not distractions, not empty responses, not fleeting encounters, because what's missing is not physical presence. It's soul. It's reciprocity. It's what made sense without effort. But it is no longer here, because those who felt chose to stop feeling for two. And that's why you feel so much now, because only when the other is gone did you begin to realize that you no longer knew how to live without them. Absence has many names. Some are gentle, like a memory that rises softly. Others cut like a forgotten knife through time. Lack, longing, void, silence, weight. Each one of them speaks, even without a voice. Each one of them points to the same place, the moment when everything could have been different. But it wasn't. You feel this in the little things. At the time when you used to receive the message, in the way the phone seems silent, even while receiving other notifications. It's the whole body trying to adapt to the absence that the soul refuses to accept. And the mind screams. It questions where it lost it, on what day, in what phrase, in what action. It tries to reconstruct the steps like someone going back to find a forgotten key. But there's no key anymore. The door has been locked from the inside, and whoever left threw the key deep into their own heart, where you no longer have access. Now all that's left is regret, swallowed in silence. It's the futile attempt to fill the empty spaces with new people who will never have the same scent, the same laughter, the same devotion, because what is lost like this cannot be replaced. It is carried, and to carry is different from overcoming. Carrying is waking up with the name in your head, is dreaming and waking up in a cold sweat, is hearing a song and having to change the station because you can't stand the reminder. To overcome would mean forgetting, and forgetting is no longer an option, because perception has arrived, and perception is cruel. It tears apart certainties. It rubs in your face every time you could have chosen to stay, but chose to postpone. Now perception is your only companion, loyal, bitter, unyielding. It accompanies you at breakfast, on the bus ride, in stop-and-go traffic, in the long shower where no one sees you give in. Perception says, it was love and you didn't see it. It was care and you dismissed it. It was presence and you wasted it. There's no point in arguing with her anymore. There's no point in justifying, because perception is deaf to excuses. It only understands facts, and the facts are clear. Someone gave you their best, and you found it was not enough. Someone insisted, and you ignored it. Someone stayed, until they couldn't stay any longer. Now the silence is yours. Every notification that isn't from that person, every encounter that isn't that good, every hug that doesn't warm, all of this is the echo of what you lost, and it will continue to echo. Because absence doesn't ask for permission to remain. It settles in, silent, everlasting, unyielding. How many times have you looked at your phone waiting for something that never came? How many times have you thought about sending a message but held back? Is it fear of emptiness, or is it fear of the response that won't come? Is it fear of hearing what you already know deep down? That you're no longer welcome, that time has passed, that the feeling has died, tired of waiting for reciprocity. This is the wound you're now trying to hide. But it's exposed, and it throbs with each frustrating attempt to move on. Do you realize this? Or do you still want to believe it was just bad luck? Bad luck is losing without guilt. What you're going through now is a consequence. And consequences teach, harshly, inevitably, irrefutably, because what you lack today is the exact reflection of what was missing in your giving. It's no longer useful to search for blame. It's no longer useful to build narratives to ease the pain. The truth is bare. You didn't see it while there was still time. And now, even while silently screaming inside, there's no one to listen, because the heart you ignored has learned to beat on its own, and it doesn't want to come back. But there's still more to be said, because absence doesn't just teach, It shapes, it carves out who you will be going forward. With marks, with memories, with scars visible only to those who know where to look. And no matter how much time passes, no matter how many new faces life brings, new voices, new scenes, there will always be a piece of you that carries the absence of the one who was left behind. It doesn't matter how much you smile. It doesn't matter how hard you try to rebuild. Some losses are permanent, not because the other person is gone, but because you let them go. And this is what now bleeds: the awareness of responsibility, the weight of not having done enough, the weight of realizing too late. And if there's anything time reveals, it's that certain opportunities come only once, and when they go unrecognized, they turn into ghosts that never stop haunting. And the greatest pain is not losing. It's realizing that it could have been different. This absence that now tightens your chest doesn't go away quickly. It doesn't vanish with distractions. It doesn't evaporate with new attempts. Because it's not about the absence of the other person. It's about the absence that remains inside you, of what you couldn't protect, of what you ignored while it was still alive. And now, what pulses is the emptiness. If this message resonated with you, if it made you realize something that was dormant, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who also needs to feel this. Sometimes the person you save is the one who can still save what you've already lost. Give it a like if this spoke to your soul. Subscribe here to receive messages that no one has the courage to say. Comment below, what has been the absence that taught you the most? Don't ignore this call. What you feel today could be the beginning of a new awareness, or just another absence that you'll carry. The choice this time is still yours.